Welcome everyone on today's Metal3 Community meeting. Today is the 24th of January 2024. As usual, my name is Adam Rosman and I will be your host today. And as usual, we can start with the introductions. Let me quickly check the participants list. I think we may have one new participant. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Mahnur, if you were talking about me as the new participant.
Yep.
Yeah. Would you like to hear something
No.
specific?
Just as much as you would like to share. So welcome to the community meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, then we can go to the reminders. As usual, please remember that the meeting is recorded. If you would like to have the project check out the issues with the help wanted label, you can use this filter via the link, or otherwise just search for them. Feel free to add your organization as an adopter if you feel that the organization would benefit from that. You just need to create a pull request, and then you can edit this table in the community repository under the Metal3 project. And then, as usual, if you hit any sort of CI issues, thankfully our CI now getting into a better shape. But if you hit a flake, you don't know what's causing it, and you think it's not related to your PR, then you can just on the right side of the issue, select from the projects the CI tracker and add it, and then people who are more familiar with the CI and have access rights can debug it with you. Our incubation proposal is still in the queue. Not much happened related to this. We are waiting on any sort of feedback or for CNCF to reach out. As usual, you can check also the all the development statistic tools, Flow Monitor, DevStats, check the images, the periodic tests. This is what I actually mentioned, that we are now looking, I believe, a bit better than before. Still way to go, but at least the feature tests, some of them are, yep, we have a way better rate of feature test passing, so that's good. Same with Pro, and one thing or two things that actually I want to focus on is soon we will have the team meetup again, end of month. So feel free to add your proposals here. This document seen a bit less traffic recently. I also have to add some of these topics, but just feel free to populate this. And then the Country Fest. I will come back to this. This is a new thing that just happened this week, and I will talk about this as part of the agenda. Okay, so we can now finally get on with the agenda, and let me check the participants list. And I see that Dimitri, you are here from the Ironic Scalability group, and Hui also. Was there anything that you would like to share related to this group?
No news for me.
For me, I don't know if it's the news, but I'm starting to write down the study that I had or we have with the fake IBA now. Yeah, I think we'll have a series of blog posts about it, but I'm not I'm not really sure when we'll like finish it. But let's hope that I can finish it soon enough.
Oh, just to mention something, I've just added a topic to the MetaCube meetup on Ironic Operator, HA and Ironic Operator, Ironic Standalone Operator, sorry. So feel free to +1 it if you want to talk about this.
Both of this sounds great. Thanks for the updates. Good. If there are no other comments or news related to the scalability, we can go to the general discussion topics. And the first one, quite big one, is from Tuomo.
Yeah, I guess. So I'm now working on switching over our old Markdown lint tool to a newer one, which would actually support the inline ignore stanzas, so we wouldn't need to have these global ignores just for the sake of one file, for example. So I have now roughly the 15 PRs open, and because they are how our CI or PRAW works is that we need to synchronize the project infra PR with the repository specific PR before the tests pass. So if we merge the repository path first, then it will block everybody else until the project infra one is merged, and the other way around as well. So I'm now collecting all the approvals for all these, at least almost all these. So I think we now have maybe 10 of them with approved and LGTM and holding, but we have a few more on the repos that are less used. So if you have the owner rights, I would really appreciate if you could go and review and flag them. Because of the majority is already LGTM approved, unless there's any major objections, we will start merging, starting from the project infra, and then unhold all of them that have the flags, because they need quite a few changes in the markdown files, and we also keep merging new PRs all the time with changes to those, so those PRs will rot really fast. So yeah, I would appreciate if you could take a look and give flags where necessary. Yeah, and I will of course take comments if someone wants to object to any of this, but since it's just a linter tool, I don't think there should be much to discuss here. I've kept most of the old rules and configs, or minimized the changes. So as mentioned, there's only basically the config for the unordered list indentation, which is a non-standard 3, because that's what the old tool wanted it to be. And I will aim to fix it in some follow-up later on. And then we could be 100% default markdown lint config. Yeah, so please take a look.
Thank you, Tomo. This looks good. I didn't even know that we had like these issues with the markdown lint. So it's great that you were looking after all this stuff. Is there anyone who would like to ask anything related to this markdown lint? If no questions, then we can go to the next one, which is the external contributors PR that's pending for a long time.
Yep, so I brought this up just because I tagged some people to review that have rights in the repository and got no responses so far. Thanks, Dimitri, for looking at it now. But to me, it looks good, and it would be minor quality of life improvements. So it would be great to get it at least reviewed. please take a look. Thanks.
Yep, thanks. And I guess there are not much to add related to this. Dimitri already started to review it or reviewed it. The next one is from me. This is related to the upcoming KubeCon in March in Paris. Altogether, as far as I know, the community has submitted six talk proposals, and one was accepted, but only on ContribFest, which is a different format. It's a workshop. So now that we have the official schedule from today, it can be like publicized, and this is the workshop. I will be the first speaker. We will look into how to involve more people as official speakers. This is just a introduction and hands-on contribution workshop, 90 minutes for the guests of the event. And today we had a discussion within our team how to organize the topics and the issues and how should we bring this forward. And what we come up with is that we will have a project, or already has a project. This is visible to all those who were invited. These are the Metal3 maintainers, the security group, the release team, and a few additional people who I know interested in this. So if you are interested to either filter the issues and issue proposals that would be presented to the guests of the event on the KubeCon, then please ping me and I will add you to this. Of course, this will go public after we kind of filtered through the issues and decided in a final set of tasks that can be worked on by the visitors. So, yep, that's the plan so far. Is there anyone who is planning to come? I know Leonard, but anyone else who is planning to come to the European KubeCon in March?
Well, it's basically in my courtyard, in my backyard. So I'm probably, I mean, for me, it takes like 15 minutes to get there. So I will probably be there, but we're still discussing details downstream with the rest of the team and with my manager.
That sounds great. I was asking it for two reasons. One, who can we meet up with, of course, but then the other is that if you would be sure that you would be present, then I would get in contact with the organizers and ask for more how to say, more speakers, but we wouldn't be really like speakers. We would facilitate this workshop. And so far, I am planning to ask them to add Leonard, but I was interested if somebody would be there then and would be interested. We could arrange that, I guess. Because on these, yep, go on.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
Yes, I am interested. Unfortunately, also my talk was rejected. My understanding is that there were like so many requests and so many submissions that it was kind of impossible even to review them all. This is what like I got at least. But anyway, so yeah, I would definitely be interested also because again, it's very close to where I live and it would be a shame not to be there. And of course, having the opportunity also to meet the rest of the community in person is great. But again, to give you like a a real answer, a proper answer, I will have to wait for the discussion that we'll have again with the rest of the team in Red Hat and with my manager.
Okay, sounds fine. Then no one other than Leonard so far. So I won't then ask for it. And if you get some info, of course I can just get in contact with the organizers again and see what we can do.
Sure, thanks.
Yep. And what something else I wanted to say. Yeah, the shed that I showed, and then no, that's it. So yeah, if anyone else is interested in like contributing issue ideas or just filtering these, or would like to just see the project, just ping me. I will add you. Okay, and then next one is from Himanshu.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay. Yeah, so just wanted to like see if you had any further concerns, or like that there are a few outstanding comments which I'm going to address today, but if you have anything since you last took a look regarding the design part, so if you have time, so please take a look at that.
Okay, I will look into this again, but I think at the end I didn't have any more stuff, and you answered everything. But yeah, I will check.
Oh yes, yeah. So yeah, that yeah. Thanks.
Okay, and then yeah, the DHCP less IPAM stuff. This
yeah, sure. Well, two things. Just to circle back to the KubeCon question, I'm likely to be there, and I'm not quite sure what my schedule looks like, but would certainly be keen to meet and potentially help with the Contrib Fest. But I'll have to confirm my availability near the time.
Yeah, that's
and in terms of the DHCP list, so this has been up for just over a month. The whole DHCP list kind of problem is quite broad. There's a number of interrelated issues, but the main focus of this proposal was to try and kind of solve one part of it, which is how to template the pre-provisioning network data in a similar way to the CAPM3 templating for network data. So we've had some good discussion here, and I'm about to basically update to resolve all of the feedback. Adam, in particular, you had some really great feedback here, but there was a couple of clarifying questions, I think, here at the end. Basically, Zane, Pierre, and myself had a thread slightly earlier in the document where we were trying to home in on the API change, and there were two problems we were trying to solve. One was how to stop the bare metal host from starting inspection until the pre-provisioning network data secret is actually populated. And the other was how to associate the template with the network data definition with the bare metal host. And so I think this is a part that we could maybe pick as a first step to solving this problem. I was thinking, the bare metal host API change could be a first step that I would like to get started on quite soon. I think we reached consensus that a new annotation would be a reasonable compromise, and I was looking to get feedback as to whether there were any objections to that before I rework the proposal and perhaps push up a work in progress implementation, just to try and get things moving in terms of the actual code changes needed to support this.
Yep. From my part, after it became clear that the approach would be IPAM with BMO, so we wouldn't necessarily involve the CAPM3 that much. I'm fine with that. I don't have an objection against this annotation. So yeah, it's fine by me.
So just to clarify, the approach which I'm thinking about is there'll be two parts to it. One will be a new annotation to the bare metal operator, and all that will do is when BMO sees the annotation, it will not start inspection until the referenced until the pre-provisioning network data has been populated. And the actual IPAM templating would still be in CAPM3. What I'd like to do is basically copy exactly the same approach that we use for network data and just allow it to populate a pre-provisioning network data secret. So there would be a change to BMO and a change to CAPM3. Really, I was trying to kind of find the least impactful way forward so that we could make progress with this. And for the meetup next week, I put some potentially longer term topics for discussion. For example, maybe we could migrate to a different configuration DSL like NM state or something like that. But I'm not trying to solve that in this proposal. I really was just trying to find a sympathetic way to make the whole workflow possible in DHCP-less environments. Just building on what we already have. So before I go and sink too much time into the coding side of it, I just wanted to make sure there weren't major concerns about trying to make some progress with that.
Yeah. Yes, it's clear, at least to me. What was confusing to me was what I was actually even discussing here is that if the CAPM3 does the templating with the IPAM together, it might be just me who for me it's not entirely clear that why would we need that additional data template, not the pre-provisioning data template, but the other one. Which was that? Oh, it was so long time ago. Yeah.
So I think this is part of the thread that we have with Pierre, and he had the same concern. And so basically what I was trying to do was copy the existing API very closely. But as it turns out, we could potentially simplify things based on the discussions we've had. The two problems I was trying to solve was have a way of defining the data template, the actual network data itself. And some of the fields in the current data template aren't relevant to the pre-provisioning phase. So that was why I created a new resource for that. It's just a subset of the existing template resource. And then the other resource was basically to link the template with the bare metal host by using a host selector. And I think if we go with the approach of using an annotation, that resource is no longer needed. So I can rewrite the proposal to remove that, and it would just be one additional resource for the template, and then a annotation added to BMO to link the bare metal host resource with a specific template. I mean, if that sounds like a reasonable way to go, it seems quite straightforward from an implementation point of view. But yeah, before kind of rewriting the proposal and committing to any code, I just wanted to make sure we were happy with that direction.
Yeah, with the general direction, yes. Yep. Okay. I think I explained it. Then you also had an answer for that. Yeah.
That's the summary here. Is the two bullets there just describe the direction that I just mentioned. So a new annotation for the BMH, which would be a way of linking the data template with BMH, and also would allow us to not start inspection until the pre-provisioning network data is actually generated. And then the second part would be a new controller which would reuse as much code as possible from the current implementation to actually template the secret. So obviously we can work out the rest of the details on the code review and on the next draft of the proposal, but I just wanted to make sure that we weren't in disagreement about the general direction before rewriting it.
Yeah. This is what I was looking for. So yeah, no MetaQ pre-provisioning template, but we would have the pre-provisioning data template. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, if we're kind of in agreement, then I'll go ahead and rework this proposal. So we've got a kind of draft that's hopefully closer to something we all agree with, and I may spend some time pushing up some code changes just so we can iterate on the details.
Yep. That sounds fine.
Short question, Steve. Admittedly, I just scanned through the spec, so I might have simply missed that. But you're saying you are going to link bare metal host to a MetaCube template. But you also said that the CapM3 is going to render this template. There seems to be a disconnect here, right? Imagine there's no CapM3.
Yeah, so if there's no CapM3, then basically you would just have to create a secret manually, which I think is perfectly valid use case. I think that option in some instances, if you want to handle the network configuration statically and control it as part of your inventory definition, then that would still be fine. But what I'm trying to solve here is in the CapM3 controllers, we have the ability to select IP addresses via IPAM, but that only works for network data and not the pre-provisioning network data. So we're in a position where you can allocate static IPs, but you still need DHCP, which is kind of weird. And so that's the problem I'm trying to solve is in the full solution where you're using CapM3 in the IPAM controller, and you don't have DHCP and you're using virtual media rather than Pixie Boot. We need a way of doing that kind of early IP assignment to allow the inspection to proceed. So yeah, as you mentioned, one option is just to create the secret, and that's actually what we're doing at the moment. And I know others in the community are already having success with that path, but this was kind of an attempt to get the full IPAM CapM3 part working as well.
Yeah, I guess I'm rambling about the fact that we are going to have a bare metal host feature that will require CapM3. But also, you're right in the sense that it's already the case with network data, right? We have some great templating, but it only works if you have Meta CapM3, and you cannot use it standalone in a sense. And your proposal, I guess, doesn't change the situation. So
well, yeah, I think so. This is what Zane was getting at: is he was trying to resist putting a new spec field in, and I think that was for this reason: is that it's kind of an optional addition, and I think that's why his preference was to have an annotation, because users who don't care about CapM3 can just ignore that annotation. It doesn't really pollute the API in any way. But for the cases where we are using bare metal host and the CapM3 controller together, it just gives us a way of linking that data template and the bare metal host. I think that the only difference would be we'll have a slight difference in behavior in terms of that state transition to inspecting when we find that annotation. So it'll be a small conditional which will be specific to that flow. But do you think that sounds reasonable? It seemed like as lower impact approach as we could find for the BMO side of it.
Yeah, I'm not hard against that. I'm really curious how many things you're going to throw at me for suggesting that we move the templating engine from CapM3 into a new project.
Well, that's an interesting that I'm not opposed to that at all. I'm just not trying to solve that in this iteration. So in the meetup discussion next week, one of the things I'm quite interested in is several of us in the community are using operating systems that use that use a network manager, and I know that several of us are also wanting to use NM State and Kubernetes and NM State, and the current DSL we're using in the templating solution makes that more difficult unless you use some alternate templating solution that's not the one we've got in CapM3. So yeah, having kind of some pluggable templating solution and maybe collaboration in the community around NM State as an alternate DSL would be of interest, definitely. But my feeling is that might take more time, and I'm trying to find a solution that reuses what we have as a first step, and then maybe we build out that flexibility in the coming months. So yeah, I'm definitely open to that discussion. I'm just trying not to block this first kind of enabling step on it.
Yeah, fair enough. As I said, we already have the situation with network data, so your proposal doesn't really make it worse.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe this is something we can follow up in more detail on the call next week where we have a bit more time, but definitely some way to make the templating more flexible would be interesting to explore. I think one of the points of friction when I started trying to build a proof of concept that used NM State, and obviously there's the network data validation, the JSON schema validation in Ironic. I think as a first step to enable those kinds of experiments, we'd need a way to disable that. So I don't know if you're aware if there's any way to just turn that validation off in Ironic already.
I'm more than aware of it because I added it. Yeah, so the schema is configurable. It's it's a file. You can replace it. I mean, you can put your path to in ironic conf. You can have a schema that just is a no schema essentially. So you cannot completely disable it, but you can provide a schema that passes everything. Or you can provide a schema that accepts either or, which is a bit more work, but probably is going to be also more beneficial. So for example, either cloud init or nm state.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting idea. Maybe we can explore that in due course. One of the challenges we have is that the nm state community don't publish a schema. And so as a first step, what I probably would like to do is just turn the schema validation off, which obviously is slightly more error prone from a user input point of view, but it allows us to prototype the flow end to end without getting stuck on the schema. So yeah, thanks for the pointers. I'll go and have another look at that. All right, that's all I had. Thanks everyone for the feedback on this. It's been a good discussion on the PR and here today. So I'll rework the current proposal and try and get some PRs up with some code to discuss in more detail.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you for championing this issue. This was something that started to become a kind of a problem for a lot of folks. But I guess we are still just at the beginning of the fight, because this, as you said, will have implications in the IPA itself also. Is there, by the way, anyone who is using the IPA with cloud init and this sort of static network configuration?
So I pasted something on the Steve spec, which is a spec by Julia, who is looking into exactly that. And actually, she is trying to rethink the way Ironic does that. So the answer is probably not yet, but there is a person who is very interested in doing it. So please find this link. I can paste it somewhere else for you. I have it handy here. Just paste it in agenda document, but it's going to be good if you take a look at that and see if it actually may potentially change any of the plans on the IPA side.
Yeah, thanks for that. So I've already been looking into the possibilities, and to be honest, we've just got a script-based solution at the moment which consumes the config data directly, which obviously is not the best long-term solution. Using cloud init would be another, but one of the reasons I mentioned nm state is nm state got rewritten in Rust, and so that could be quite a small footprint tool. So you could imagine in a future templating solution which passes in the nm state format, you could just have nm state inside the round disk image. And obviously you would need a network manager based round disk for that. But yeah, that was another avenue I was interested in exploring that would maybe be slightly more lightweight than using cloud init. And then in situations where you want to use nm state for day 2 operations, then it could be a nice kind of way of aligning things. But it seems like a lot more work, so I haven't tried to solve that part of the problem in this first proposal.
Yeah, we do use nm state, but we use a completely different process, so not going to help you.
Yeah, obviously that's kind of one of the reasons why I've mentioned it. I know that that's something which some folks in the community are already using, but just in a slightly different way. But it would still maybe mean that we could align on a common DSL for some subset of the community who are interested in that solution.
This looks very interesting. I have to read this, and it's entirety great. This is great. What this nm state and this what you, Dimitri, pasted into the doc. Great. It's very good to see that this is moving somewhere. Is there any other questions, comments related to this DHCP? This is a giant topic, and many people had many solutions, and it started some time ago. I imagine for everyone to handle this issue and support this downstream. But if there are no other questions related to this, I think if you are still interested, just don't want to ask, just read the pull request or the updated version when it is there. It will explain a lot. Okay. Any other problems, questions, suggestions related to anything that was said during the meeting?
I could use an LGTM on Ironic IPA downloader and new LGTM on Ironic client. Otherwise, I can now, or I'm in the process of merging all these Linter PRs. So 2 more to go. Thanks, guys, for great response.
Thanks. Okay, if there are no other questions, then thank you for your time and the great discussions. And let's meet the next week when we will have the big meetup. Yep, have a nice rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.